Did you know that right now, as you sit there watching this video, there might be money, benefits, or protections already assigned to you by law that you've never even claimed? Or that your landlord, your bank, or even a government agency could be violating your rights, and you wouldn't even know it? If you're over 60 and living independently, you're covered by 7 crucial legal protections designed to safeguard your income, your home, and your dignity. The problem is, most seniors don't know these rights exist, and that lack of knowledge costs them thousands every year. These aren't loopholes or handouts. They're your rights, written into law, and they're there to make sure you're treated fairly. So before another month goes by, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to protect your money, your independence, and your peace of mind starting today. Let me tell you about Marlena, a 68-year-old retired librarian from Allentown, Pennsylvania, the kind of woman who still alphabetizes her pantry and pays every bill on time. Marlena's life was simple but steady. She'd worked hard, raised 2 kids on her own after her husband passed away young, and made a quiet promise to herself. She would never depend on anyone again. Her apartment was small, cozy, filled with books, and completely paid off. Every month, she lived within her means, Social Security, a small pension, and a bit of savings she'd built up over the years. Independence wasn't just her lifestyle, it was her identity. But one Tuesday morning in March, everything changed. Marlena sat at her kitchen table, sipping coffee, when she opened her online bank statement and froze. Her Social Security deposit was $394 short. She thought it was a mistake, maybe a glitch. She called the bank, waited on hold for 40 minutes, and finally got through to a representative who told her that part of her payment had been garnished by a federal agency. Something about an unpaid student loan from the 1980s. Marlena was stunned. She barely remembered taking out a small loan to finish her library science degree. She had long assumed it was paid off. And even if it wasn't, how could they take her Social Security? Her hands shook as she hung up the phone. The thought of losing more money made her sick. That $400 covered her medication and groceries for the month. She called Social Security, but the process was confusing. No one clearly explained her rights or what she could do to fight back. She felt small, powerless, and forgotten. But what Marlena didn't realize, and what so many seniors don't know, is that she actually had legal protections. There were steps she could have taken to challenge the garnishment, delay it, or even stop it altogether. But no one had ever told her that. No one ever explained that she had a voice in the system. And she's not alone. Across the country, seniors are losing benefits, housing, and savings, not because they broke the law, but because they were never told what their rights truly are. The worst part? It's preventable. So before you think, that could never happen to me, stop and ask yourself, how sure are you? Legal Right 1. The right to protect your Social Security from most garnishments. Here's the first legal right that most seniors never take advantage of, and it could mean the difference between losing your savings and keeping your independence. Your Social Security benefits are legally protected from nearly all private debt collectors. That means the credit card company that's been calling you, the hospital that sent your bill to collections, or the personal loan agency demanding payment cannot legally reach into your Social Security account to take a dime. This protection comes from Section 207 of the Social Security Act, a law designed to make sure your retirement income stays yours. But here's where things get confusing, and where people like Marlena often get blindsided. While private creditors can't touch your benefits, the federal government plays by different rules. Agencies like the IRS or the Department of Education can garnish up to 15% of your monthly Social Security for unpaid federal taxes, defaulted student loans, or other government-related debts. It sounds unfair, but that's the law. Still, even then, there are limits designed to protect you. The government must leave you with at least $750 per month. If a garnishment would push your balance below that, they're not allowed to take it. And if losing that money creates a financial hardship, meaning you can't afford basic living expenses like rent, food, or medication, you have the right to ask for relief. You can request a waiver or even delay the garnishment by submitting Form SSA 632BK to the Social Security Administration. It's not a complicated process, but most seniors don't know it exists. You fill out the form, explain your hardship, and attach documentation like bills or medical expenses. Once filed, the SSA is required to review it and can reduce or stop the garnishment while they investigate. Another key protection that too many seniors overlook: your bank must automatically safeguard up to 2 months' worth of your direct deposited federal benefits. This is called the look-back period. It means if a creditor or agency sends a garnishment order, your bank cannot freeze those 2 months of benefits. That protection is built in. You don't have to ask for it. And there's even better news for 2025. Congressman Raleigh introduced the Beat Bad Bureaucrats Act, a new measure aimed at preventing wrongful garnishments caused by identity theft or bureaucratic mistakes. Under this new law, if you believe someone has fraudulently used your identity or a government agency made an error, you can report it, and the garnishment must be paused immediately while the case is reviewed. So here's the takeaway: your Social Security is not a free-for-all for collectors. It's your safety net, and the law protects it. Have you ever looked at your bank statement and noticed something off? You're not alone. Many seniors have been there, and now, you know what to do if it ever happens again. Legal right 2. The right to fair housing and freedom from age discrimination. Now let's talk about where you live. Because your home isn't just a place to sleep. It's your independence, your peace of mind, and your freedom. And protecting that space is one of the most important legal rights you have as a senior living independently. Here's something many people don't realize. You are protected from unfair treatment under the Fair Housing Act, one of the most powerful pieces of housing law in America. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While age by itself isn't directly listed as a protected class under this law, seniors are still shielded from discrimination that often hides behind other categories, like disability, race, religion, sex, or national origin. And in reality, a lot of age discrimination sneaks through under the disguise of policy or preference. For example, maybe a landlord tells you they prefer younger tenants because they stay longer or don't need special maintenance. That kind of language isn't just offensive. It's often illegal when tied to disability or unequal treatment. If you use a walker, have hearing or vision challenges, or rely on medical equipment like oxygen tanks, you are protected under disability law. That means your landlord must allow reasonable accommodations to help you live safely and comfortably. This could include installing grab bars in the bathroom, permitting a service or emotional support animal even in a no-pets property, or providing a ground floor unit if climbing stairs puts your health at risk. These are not favors, they are legal obligations. And if you live in federally subsidized senior housing programs like HUD Section 202 Supportive Housing for the Elderly, your protections are even stronger. In these programs, landlords can't simply evict you on a whim or because they want to raise the rent. They must have good cause, a valid, documented reason like non-payment or lease violations, and they must provide 30 to 90 days written notice before taking any action. Unfortunately, many landlords rely on the fact that seniors often don't know these rights. They'll say no and expect you to back down quietly. But you don't have to. You have every legal right to insist on fair treatment. You can even file a housing discrimination complaint directly with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And here's the best part: you don't need a lawyer. The process is free, straightforward, and confidential. You can submit it online, by phone, or by mail. So ask yourself this: if your landlord denied your request for safety modifications or tried to push you out unfairly, would you stand up for your rights? Most people don't, but you can. You've earned the right to live safely, with dignity, and without fear of losing your home just because of your age or your health. And the law is on your side, even if your landlord doesn't want you to know it. Legal right 3. The right to install safety devices in your home. Yes, even in rentals. This one surprises almost everyone, especially renters. If you're a senior living on your own, you have a powerful legal right that most people don't even know exists. The right to install safety and security devices inside your home, even if you're renting. You are not at the mercy of your landlord when it comes to protecting yourself. In fact, under strengthened senior housing and tenant protection laws in several states, updated in 2025, you can legally install certain devices that improve your personal safety, such as video doorbells, motion sensor lights, indoor security cameras, and smart locks. Your landlord can't stop you simply because they don't like it. As long as your devices don't damage the property or violate another tenant's privacy, you're fully within your rights. These protections were specifically designed to help older adults maintain independence and security, because far too many seniors have fallen victim to burglary, scams, or even neglect, just because they were afraid to push back against their landlords. Imagine this: you live alone, and someone knocks on your door late at night. You don't have to panic. Your video doorbell lets you see who it is before you even move an inch. That sense of control and safety? It's not a privilege, it's your right. And here's something most seniors don't know. If your landlord threatens to raise your rent, refuses maintenance, or tries to evict you because you installed a safety device, that's called retaliation, and it's illegal. You can report it to your local housing authority or the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. Many states now have dedicated elder tenant protection hotlines for this very reason. These protections also extend to medical alert systems, those life-saving devices that let you call for help instantly during an emergency. You don't need landlord permission to install or use one, whether it's a wall-mounted button or a wearable alert pendant connected to your home system. Think about how much peace of mind that gives you, knowing you can call for help or record suspicious activity without waiting for approval. You've earned the right to feel safe in your own space. If you've ever hesitated to make your home safer because you were worried about upsetting the landlord, this is your sign to stop waiting. The law is on your side. Would you feel safer with a small camera watching your entryway or a smart lock on your door? Tell us in the comments. Your story could help another senior find the courage to protect themselves. You've spent your whole life caring for others. Now, it's time to protect yourself, confidently, legally, and without apology. Legal right 4. The right to organize with other senior tenants. Here's a right that might just change the way you think about your living situation, and it's one most seniors never use. You have the legal right to organize with other tenants in your building. Yes, even if your landlord says you can't. Even if you live in senior housing. Even if they try to intimidate you into silence. Under updated Senior Independent Housing Protections, 2025, residents have the full right to hold meetings, form tenant associations, and discuss shared housing concerns without fear of retaliation. That means you can meet in common areas, send out flyers, and even invite advocates or community officials to speak with your group, and your landlord cannot legally interfere. Why does this matter? Because when you speak alone, you're just a tenant. But when you organize, you become a community, and communities get things done. Think about it. Maybe your building's elevator has been broken for months, making it impossible for those using walkers or wheelchairs to get downstairs. Or maybe rent keeps rising, but nothing ever gets repaired. When one person complains, management shrugs. But when 10 or 20 of you come together, suddenly, they start listening. This right is powerful because it gives you back control over your living conditions, something many seniors lose when landlords take advantage of them assuming they won't fight back. But you can. And legally, you're protected every step of the way. If your landlord tries to stop your meetings, bans flyers, or threatens to raise your rent for speaking up, that's retaliation, and it's strictly illegal. You can report it to your local housing authority, file a complaint with HUD, or contact your state's tenants' rights organization. The law is on your side, and documentation is your strongest weapon. Organizing doesn't mean starting a protest. It can be as simple as gathering a few neighbors over tea to talk about your shared concerns. From there, you can write a joint letter, request a meeting with building management, or invite a tenants advocate to help you understand your rights. Across the country, senior tenant groups have already achieved big victories, from rent freezes in Florida to safety upgrades in senior apartment complexes in California. Those wins started with conversations just like this one. Have you ever felt like you were the only one dealing with unfair treatment where you live? You're not alone. Imagine what could happen if every tenant in your building stood together. Would you join forces with your neighbors if it meant safer, fairer living conditions? Drop a comment below. Your answer might inspire someone else to take their first stand. Legal Right 5. The right to a healthcare proxy and advance directives. Let's be real for a moment. None of us like to think about losing control over our own lives. But what if one day, because of an accident, illness, or stroke, you couldn't tell the doctor what you wanted? Who would speak for you? That's where your legal right to a healthcare proxy and advance directive becomes one of the most powerful protections you'll ever have. It's not about giving up control. It's about keeping it, even when you can't speak. A healthcare proxy is a legal document that lets you appoint someone you trust, a spouse, child, friend, or anyone you choose, to make medical decisions for you if you're unable to communicate. This person can decide what treatments you receive, whether or not to approve surgery, which medications you'll take, and how far doctors should go with life support or resuscitation. They can even handle sensitive decisions about pain management or organ donation. And here's something most people don't realize. This isn't just for end-of-life care. It's for any medical emergency that leaves you temporarily incapacitated. A car accident, a fall, a reaction to anesthesia. In those critical moments, having a proxy means your choices are respected, not guessed. Then there's the advance directive, a written document where you clearly outline your medical wishes in advance. Think of it as your voice on paper. It tells doctors and loved ones exactly what kind of care you want, or don't want, in specific situations. You can specify whether you want to be resuscitated, kept on a ventilator, or receive certain life-prolonging treatments. Without these documents, doctors are legally obligated to turn to your next of kin, and if there's disagreement among family members, it can quickly become a heartbreaking legal battle. In some cases, if there's no family, the state can appoint a guardian, often a total stranger, to make choices about your body and care. But here's the empowering part. Creating these documents is simple, free, and fully within your rights. Every U.S. state provides official healthcare proxy and advance directive forms online. You don't need an attorney. Just print the forms, fill them out, and have 2 witnesses sign them. Some states even let you complete the process electronically. Once you've created them, don't just tuck them away in a drawer. Give a copy to your doctor, your chosen healthcare proxy, and a close family member or friend. Many states now have registries where medical professionals can instantly access your directive in an emergency, meaning your wishes are always known, no matter where you are. This isn't about fear, it's about peace of mind. It's about making sure your dignity and independence are protected, even when life takes an unexpected turn. So ask yourself, if something happened tomorrow, would your loved ones know what to do? Would your doctors know your wishes? If not, this is your moment. Download your state's free forms tonight. Fill them out. Take control of your future. And if you're committing to getting it done this week, drop a comment below that says, "I'm taking charge." Your future self, and your loved ones, will thank you for it. Legal Right 6. The right to extended eviction notice as a senior tenant. If you're a senior renter, this next right could mean the difference between keeping your home and losing it. And sadly, most older tenants never even hear about it until it's too late. Across the country, seniors are legally entitled to longer eviction notice periods than younger tenants. It's a protection built into state and local housing laws because lawmakers recognize that seniors often need more time to relocate, find accessible housing, or secure support services. Take California, for example. Under the Ellis Act, if a landlord wants to remove a building from the rental market, they must give senior and disabled tenants 12 full months' notice before eviction. That's an entire year to plan, compared to just 120 days for everyone else. That extra time can mean everything. Time to find a new place, apply for housing assistance, or arrange medical support. In New York City, seniors facing eviction have access to free legal representation through the city's right to counsel law. If you're being evicted, you can get a lawyer at no cost, someone who knows the system and can stop landlords from taking advantage of you. In Massachusetts, If a senior is forced out of their home through no fault of their own, they get priority placement in public housing. Some cities even speed up Section 8 voucher processing for older adults at risk of homelessness, making it faster and easier to secure stable housing. Even if you don't live in one of these states, there's a good chance your city or county has its own enhanced senior protections. Many local ordinances extend notice periods, freeze rent for elderly tenants, or require landlords to provide relocation assistance. The challenge is that these rules aren't automatic. You have to know about them, ask for them, and sometimes file a request before a deadline. If your landlord hands you an eviction notice, don't panic and don't move out right away. Check your paperwork. Look up your state's senior tenant laws. Call a tenant rights hotline or contact legal aid in your area. Most offices have special programs for seniors, and many will handle your case for free. And if you live in federally subsidized housing, like a HUD senior building or Section 202 property, your landlord must have good cause to evict you. That means they need a valid legal reason, and they must give written notice with enough time for you to respond. A landlord cannot legally evict you just because they want the unit back or don't like complaints. Here's something most seniors don't realize. If you stay silent, you lose protection. But if you assert your rights, the law can work for you. Ask questions. Request documentation. And always get legal help before signing anything or leaving your home. So let's turn this into a moment of support. Have you or someone you know ever faced eviction? What did you learn from that experience? Drop your story in the comments below. You never know, your words could be the exact message that helps another senior hold onto their home. Legal Right 7. The right to protection from financial exploitation. This final right might be the most important one of all, because it could literally save your life savings. Financial exploitation is one of the fastest growing crimes against seniors, and it's not always committed by strangers. It's often done by someone the victim knows and trusts, a family member, caregiver, or even a financial advisor who slowly takes control of their accounts. But in 2025, the laws changed, and now, seniors have stronger protection than ever before. Under new federal guidelines and state-level elder protection laws, banks, credit unions, and financial advisors are legally required to take action if they suspect you're being financially exploited. That means if a teller notices large, unexplained withdrawals, sudden changes to your beneficiary list, or someone hovering over you telling you what to say, they can step in. And here's the part that gives this law real power. Your bank now has the authority to pause suspicious transactions. They can temporarily delay or freeze the movement of funds if they believe you're being scammed or coerced. This pause gives investigators time to verify whether the activity is legitimate or fraudulent. In September 2025, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Senior Security Act, which created a dedicated task force at the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, focused on identifying, tracking, and prosecuting financial crimes against seniors. The law also directed the Government Accountability Office, GAO, to study the economic toll of elder exploitation, a step that could lead to even stronger protections in the future. Here's what this means for you. You now have the legal right to be protected from financial predators, whether that's a scammer calling about Medicare updates, a fake IRS agent demanding payment, or a relative trying to get you to sign over property. If you ever feel pressured to sign a document, transfer money, or share personal information, stop immediately. Call your bank, talk to someone you trust, or contact Adult Protective Services in your area. Financial exploitation is a crime, and you have the right to report it. And if you're ever unsure whether something feels right, follow this rule. If it creates urgency, confusion, or fear, it's probably a scam. You have every right to ask for verification, take time to think, or say no. One of the most important updates in these 2025 laws is that financial institutions are now immune from lawsuits when they report suspected abuse in good faith. That means they're no longer afraid of getting involved. Instead, they're encouraged and legally protected when they act to keep you safe. These protections are working. In some states, financial institutions have already stopped hundreds of fraudulent withdrawals, saving seniors millions of dollars. So here's the takeaway. Your money is your independence. And now, The law stands behind you to help you keep it. Have you ever felt pressured to give money, share your PIN, or sign something you didn't fully understand? Tell us in the comments. Your story could open someone else's eyes, and maybe even save them from becoming the next victim. Let's go back to Marlena, the woman who once sat at her kitchen table, staring at her bank statement, heart racing, wondering how she was going to make it through the month. When that first garnishment hit, she felt her independence slipping away. She thought the system had won. That once the government took her money, that was it. Game over. For weeks, she lived in fear of checking her mail or opening her bank app, afraid she'd find even less next time. But then, one small conversation changed everything. A neighbor from church told her about a local legal aid clinic that helped seniors for free. At first, Marlena hesitated. She didn't think she had the energy to fight. But something inside her, maybe pride, maybe hope, told her to try. She walked into that office expecting judgment. Instead, she found compassion. The attorney listened to her story, looked over her paperwork, and calmly said, "You don't have to live like this. You have rights." Together, they reviewed her social security records. The lawyer explained that her benefits couldn't legally be taken beyond a certain limit, and that she had every right to file a financial hardship waiver and challenge the garnishment. For the first time, Marlena realized she wasn't powerless. She just hadn't been informed. 2 weeks later, she got a letter. Her garnishment had been reduced. A month after that, it stopped completely. The so-called debt was decades old and had been wrongly reported. The government not only stopped taking her money, they refunded a portion of what they'd already taken. For Marlena, that moment wasn't just about the money. It was about reclaiming her peace, her confidence, her sense of control. She started sleeping again. She went back to her garden. She even began volunteering once a week at the same legal aid office that helped her, teaching other seniors how to read their bank statements, spot unauthorized deductions, and understand their legal protections. Now, when she talks to other older adults who feel scared or confused, she looks them in the eye and says, "You're not helpless. You just haven't been told the truth yet." That's the heart of this story, and of this video. You deserve to know your rights. You deserve to keep what you've earned. You deserve to live with dignity, independence, and peace of mind. But it all starts with one thing: speaking up. Because your rights mean nothing until you use them. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just scroll away and forget this. Save this video right now so you can revisit it whenever you need a reminder that you do have control. Someone out there, maybe a friend, a parent, or even a neighbor who's struggling quietly, needs this information just as much as you did. Hit that share button and send it to them. You could be the reason they finally get help. And if this video gave you clarity or courage, show some love by liking it. That's how I know these stories are reaching the right people. Then hit subscribe to Better Aging, because every week, we share practical ways to protect your rights, your health, and your independence. Remember, aging isn't losing strength. It's gaining wisdom and using it to stand taller than before. I'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay confident, and never let anyone make you feel powerless again.